Your soulmate asked God to marry you. My beloved child, before the stars learned how to shine across the heavens, before your first breath filled your lungs, a prayer connected two destinies that had never met. What you are about to hear is not something your eyes have seen before, and if you leave now, you may never understand why your heart has been restless for so long. Stay with these words because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate reached a place where no human applause, no earthly success, and no temporary happiness could satisfy the longing within their soul. On a quiet night, when no one else knew what they carried inside, they lifted their heart toward God and whispered a question they had hidden from the entire world. It was not about wealth. It was not about fame. It was not about comfort. With complete sincerity they asked only one thing. If this person is truly the one you prepared for me, allow me to spend my life loving them. The silence that followed felt endless. Their heartbeat grew louder than the wind. Every passing second felt like a lifetime because they knew one answer could change everything forever. Then something unexpected happened. Peace entered their heart before any words ever could. It was different from every feeling they had known. It did not force them. It did not rush them. It simply reminded them that real promises are never built in panic. Yet what happened next is the part almost nobody knows, and it is the reason your path has changed in ways you never understood. As dawn approached, your soulmate noticed that ordinary moments no longer felt ordinary. Familiar places suddenly carried unfamiliar meaning. Random conversations sounded strangely connected. Every closed door quietly redirected them instead of stopping them. They could not explain why they kept feeling drawn towards someone they had not fully met, yet their heart refused to let go of that unseen connection. They wondered if they were imagining everything, but every time doubt appeared, another unexpected reminder followed. A song arrived at the perfect moment. A stranger spoke words that echoed their hidden prayer. A forgotten memory returned with incredible clarity. Piece by piece, hope replaced uncertainty. They realized that answers from heaven often arrive through quiet direction instead of dramatic signs. Still, there remained one final question that continued to echo inside them. Was the person they had prayed for truly walking toward them at this very moment? Or would time create one last unexpected test before their paths could finally become one? Do not skip this message, because the answer is closer than you think, and every sentence is leading toward a revelation that few people ever expect. Meanwhile, without realizing it, your own journey was changing in ways invisible to everyone around you. Every disappointment that once felt meaningless was slowly becoming preparation. Every delay was protecting something you could not yet see. Every lesson was quietly shaping the kind of love that would last instead of fade. You thought certain opportunities disappeared because they were lost forever, but many of them were simply making room for something greater than your expectations. At the exact moment you questioned whether anyone truly understood your heart, your soulmate was asking heaven to prepare them to become the kind of person worthy of loving you faithfully. They were not asking for perfection. They were asking for wisdom, patience, kindness, and courage. That prayer began changing them from the inside long before either of you realized why life seemed to be moving differently. The remarkable part is this: every transformation happening within them created a matching transformation within you, even though neither of you could see the invisible connection forming between your stories. What appeared to be separate journeys were quietly becoming one path. But here is the revelation that changes everything. After your soulmate finished praying, they expected an immediate answer. Instead, what they received first was preparation. They expected certainty, but they were given growth. They expected arrival, but they were shown purpose. That unexpected response became more valuable than the answer they originally wanted because it taught them that lasting love is built long before two people finally stand together. Yet there remains one sentence from that sacred conversation with God that has never fully revealed itself. It is a sentence so powerful that once your soulmate understood its meaning, they could never look at your future the same way again. That hidden answer is still unfolding, and what it revealed about you will leave even the strongest hearts completely stunned. Stay close, because the next part uncovers the words that changed your soulmate forever. A new morning arrived, but your soulmate could not forget what had happened during that quiet conversation with God. They tried to continue with ordinary life, yet every ordinary moment carried an extraordinary feeling. It was as if an invisible promise had settled deep within their spirit. Days passed, but instead of receiving the answer they expected, they kept finding themselves becoming a different person. Their patience grew stronger. Their heart became gentler. Their desire to chase temporary things slowly disappeared. They began understanding that the greatest blessing is never simply finding the right person, it is becoming the right person before that meeting ever happens. That realization surprised them more than anything else. Then, during another quiet moment of prayer, something unexpected entered their heart. It was not a loud voice. It was not a dramatic sign. It was a calm certainty that seemed impossible to ignore. The message was simple yet life-changing: the one you are praying for is also being prepared. Those words echoed inside them again and again until every fear started losing its power. Stay till the end, because the meaning behind those words is far greater than anyone first realizes. From that day forward, your soulmate stopped asking, "When will I meet them?" Instead, they began asking, "How can I honor the future we are both walking toward?" That single change transformed everything. They became more grateful, more hopeful, more faithful in the small moments nobody else noticed. And something remarkable happened because of that decision. Doors that once refused to open suddenly became easier to walk through. Conversations led them toward unexpected opportunities. Delays no longer felt like punishment, they began looking like protection. Even when life seemed confusing, an unexplainable peace remained with them. Deep inside, they believed someone was moving through their own journey at exactly the right pace. Someone whose story was quietly connecting with theirs. Someone whose future mattered enough for heaven to prepare both hearts instead of rushing either one. If you have stayed this far, do not leave now, because the next revelation explains why certain moments in your own life suddenly began changing without warning. There were times when your soulmate almost gave up. They wondered whether they had misunderstood everything. They questioned whether waiting was worth it. Yet every time discouragement appeared, another reminder arrived just in time. A peaceful sunrise. A meaningful conversation. An unexpected feeling of hope that could not be explained. It reminded them that true love does not grow weaker during waiting, it grows deeper. They realized that the greatest relationships are not built on perfect timing chosen by people but on perfect preparation shaped through patience. That understanding changed how they looked at every delay, every unanswered question, and every unexpected turn. Instead of seeing obstacles, they began seeing hidden lessons. Instead of fearing tomorrow, they began trusting that every step was leading somewhere meaningful. And unknown to them, every lesson they embraced was bringing their path one step closer to yours. Then came the moment that left your soulmate completely still. During another heartfelt prayer, one final thought settled into their heart with incredible clarity: do not fear the waiting, because the promise is already moving. Those words carried more hope than they had ever experienced before. They finally understood that the answer to their prayer was never simply yes or no. It was far greater than either. It was an invitation to trust every unseen step leading toward a future that neither of you could fully imagine yet. At that very moment, your soulmate smiled for a reason no one around them could understand. They believed that somewhere, somehow, your story was also changing. But there is one hidden detail about that answer from God that your soulmate discovered later, a detail so unexpected that it completely transformed the way they looked at you forever. That revelation is only beginning to unfold. There came a moment your soulmate never expected, a moment so quiet that almost anyone else would have overlooked it. Nothing dramatic happened around them. The sky looked the same. The streets were the same. The people around them continued living their ordinary lives. Yet inside their heart, everything changed forever. They realized that the answer they had been searching for was never hidden in extraordinary events. It had been growing silently through every season they almost gave up. Suddenly, memories began connecting like pieces of a forgotten puzzle. Every disappointment they once questioned now seemed to point toward a single purpose. Every unexpected delay now carried meaning. Every closed chapter had protected an unwritten one. And then a thought filled their heart with overwhelming clarity: the person I prayed for has been walking toward this promise without even realizing it. That realization brought tears to their eyes, not tears of sadness, but tears of gratitude. They understood that while they had been praying for you, your own life had also been quietly shaped for a meeting that neither of you could force before its proper time. Don't skip now, because the next truth is the one that changed everything they believed about your future together. From that day onward, your soulmate stopped searching for signs everywhere and started paying attention to character instead of coincidence. They realized that lasting love is not built on excitement alone, it is built on faithfulness, kindness, patience, and unwavering commitment. Every day they prayed for your happiness, even though they still did not know your face. They prayed that your heart would remain strong during difficult seasons. They prayed that your dreams would not fade. They prayed that every challenge would shape you instead of breaking you. Without knowing your name, they cared about your future. Without hearing your voice, they hoped for your peace. Without standing beside you, they believed your story mattered. That hidden prayer became part of their daily life until loving someone they had not yet met no longer felt impossible. It felt natural. They trusted that every sincere prayer was preparing something far greater than they could imagine. And at that exact time, something extraordinary began happening that only heaven could fully understand. While your soulmate continued praying, opportunities unexpectedly appeared before them, but not every opportunity was meant to be accepted. Some people entered their life only to reveal what genuine love was not. Some situations taught them to recognize honesty instead of appearances. Some moments showed them that temporary happiness can never replace lasting peace. They walked away from things that once seemed attractive because their heart had already chosen something deeper. They refused to settle for relationships built only on convenience because they believed the promise they had prayed for deserved complete faithfulness. Every difficult choice strengthened their conviction. Every sacrifice brought them closer to the person they hoped to become. Little did they know that every decision they made was quietly protecting the future they wanted to share with you. The path was becoming clearer with every passing day, even though the destination still remained unseen. Then came the revelation that left your soulmate speechless. During another quiet moment with God, a single truth settled into their heart with incredible peace: when the time is right, neither distance nor delay will prevent what I have prepared. Those words erased years of uncertainty in an instant. They no longer feared missed chances or unanswered questions because they finally understood that what is truly meant to come together cannot be separated by time alone. From that moment forward, they carried hope instead of worry. They smiled even during waiting because they believed your story was moving closer to theirs with every passing day. But there was still one mystery they had not yet discovered. Soon, they would receive an unexpected confirmation, one that would make them realize your connection was even more meaningful than they had ever imagined. That moment was closer than either of you knew, and once it arrived, nothing would ever feel the same again. There was one evening your soulmate could never forget. It did not begin with excitement. It began with complete stillness. After everything they had prayed, after every lesson they had learned, they sat in silence once more, wondering if there was anything left to understand. Then an unexpected peace settled over them unlike anything they had experienced before. It was not a promise of immediate answers. It was something even greater. Deep within their heart came a quiet realization: love that is meant to last is never built in haste. Those words transformed the way they viewed every delay. Instead of feeling left behind, they felt protected. Instead of wondering why certain paths had closed, they began thanking God for every unseen redirection. In that very moment, they understood something astonishing. Every season that seemed empty had actually been making room for someone whose story would fit perfectly beside theirs. Stay with this until the very end, because the next revelation uncovers the hidden reason your paths have never truly been as far apart as they appeared. As the days passed, your soulmate began noticing something remarkable. Every time they imagined their future, your presence seemed to appear without a face, without a name, yet with undeniable certainty. It was as though their heart already recognized someone their eyes had not yet seen. They no longer chased impossible timelines or compared their journey with anyone else's. Instead, they focused on becoming someone who could protect, encourage, and remain faithful through every season of life. That quiet transformation became their greatest victory. They realized that true commitment begins long before two people stand together. It begins in the unseen choices made when nobody is watching. Every act of kindness, every patient decision, every moment of hope was preparing a foundation strong enough to carry a lifelong promise. Unknown to them, those same unseen changes were quietly unfolding within your own journey, bringing two separate stories closer with every passing day. Then something happened that completely changed their perspective. During another heartfelt prayer, one thought entered their heart with breathtaking clarity: the answer you have been waiting for is already moving, even if you cannot see every step. Those words remained with them everywhere they went. They stopped asking for proof because peace had become greater than certainty. Every sunrise reminded them that unseen work continues long before visible results appear. Every new opportunity reminded them that timing has a purpose beyond human understanding. Even moments that once looked like setbacks began revealing hidden blessings. They realized that if everything had happened sooner, both hearts would have missed the wisdom they now carried. Looking back, they no longer wished to rewrite their past because every chapter had quietly prepared them for the future they believed was drawing near. What once felt like waiting had become meaningful preparation. But the greatest surprise had not yet arrived. One final realization settled into your soulmate's heart with overwhelming joy. They understood that the question they had asked God was never answered with a simple word. Instead, the answer had been unfolding through every season, every lesson, every unexpected turn, and every quiet victory. The response was larger than they could have imagined because it was shaping not only their future but yours as well. They smiled with complete confidence, believing that when the right moment finally arrives, neither fear nor uncertainty will have the final say. Yet there remains one hidden piece of this extraordinary story, a truth your soulmate has only just begun to discover. When that final piece is revealed, it will explain why your connection feels so different from every path that came before, and why the ending of this journey will be unlike anything either of you ever expected. For a long time, your soulmate believed the most important moment would be the day they finally met you. But one quiet evening, they realized something far more extraordinary. The greatest miracle had already begun long before that meeting. Every unanswered question, every unexpected delay, every season of waiting had been quietly transforming their heart into someone capable of protecting a lasting love. They closed their eyes and remembered the very first prayer they had whispered to God. At that time, they had simply asked, "May I marry the one you have prepared for me?" Now they understood that the answer had never been rushed because a rushed promise could never become a lasting one. Suddenly, everything made sense. The disappointments that once seemed meaningless had become valuable lessons. The people who walked away had made room for someone who truly belonged. The dreams that changed had opened the path toward an even greater future. Stay until the end, because what your soulmate discovered next became the missing piece they had searched for all along. Then an unexpected thought settled into their heart with incredible clarity. They realized they had stopped praying only for their own happiness. Instead, they had begun praying for yours every single day. They asked that your heart would remain hopeful during moments of uncertainty. They prayed that your strength would grow through every challenge. They hoped your kindness would never disappear, no matter what life placed before you. Without knowing where you were, they believed your journey mattered. Without hearing your voice, they trusted that your story was unfolding exactly as it needed to. That quiet change surprised even them. Love had already begun teaching them selflessness before your paths had ever crossed. It was no longer about receiving something. It was about becoming someone worthy of protecting another person's peace. In that moment, they felt closer to you than ever before, even though distance still separated your lives. Days later, another realization changed everything again. Your soulmate understood that every step they had taken after that first prayer had been leading toward one extraordinary destination. Every lesson had strengthened their character. Every act of patience had increased their confidence. Every unexpected turn had redirected them away from temporary paths and toward something lasting. They no longer feared waiting because waiting had become proof that something valuable was being carefully prepared. Looking back, they smiled at every moment they once called a setback. Those moments had quietly become the strongest foundation beneath their future. They began living each day with quiet confidence, believing that somewhere your own journey was reaching the same point of readiness. Two different roads were slowly becoming one, and neither of you fully realized how close those roads had become. Then came the realization that left your soulmate completely speechless. During another peaceful moment of prayer, they felt one final truth settle deeply within their heart: the greatest answer was never only about finding each other. It was about becoming the people each other had prayed for. Those words filled them with overwhelming gratitude. They no longer focused on wondering how or when everything would happen. Instead, they trusted that every remaining step already carried purpose. Yet one final chapter of this remarkable story has not been revealed. There is still one unforgettable moment waiting ahead, a moment that will show why your soulmate never stopped believing after asking God that life-changing question. When that final truth comes to light, it will connect every hidden piece of this journey in a way neither of you could have imagined.